I'm going to share with you a quick story about a hero that not only saved my life, but the lives of many others, including his own. And then I'm going to tell you who this hero is, where he's located, and how you can get hold of him. Because your life or somebody you love might be the next life that he saves. Okay, so this hero had a dad that was diagnosed with dilated cardiomyopathy that was going on for about 20 years. The family took him to the very best cardiologist they could find in New York City. In fact, his cardiologists were the same cardiologists that cared for the president at the time. But none of them could help, and they said without a heart transplant, the hero's dad only had a few months to live. The hero, his dad's son, was finishing his medical residency at the time. He was doing research that involved Lyme bacteria and learned that Lyme could cause dilated cardiomyopathy. So he went to his dad's cardiologist and he was like, wait up, before you do this heart transplant, don't you think we should evaluate my father for Lyme disease? He looked at the hero like he was crazy and said no, he would not be checking his father for Lyme disease. He said, your dad doesn't have Bell's palsy, he doesn't have arthritis, so he doesn't have Lyme. Hello, they were living in a Lyme-saturated area where literally every other house had a case of Lyme. Wouldn't it be reasonable then to at least check his father for Lyme disease? But no, he told the hero, I'm not going to check him for Lyme. You're a doctor now. If you want to check him, you check him. So he did. But unfortunately, because the standardized testing for Lyme, quite frankly, sucks and is known to have up to 50% false negatives, his dad tested negative. But the hero was convinced, and he looked at it, analyzing risk versus benefit. He thought at this point, what do we have to lose? And so he started treating his dad with antibiotics for Lyme disease. His dad's heart function began to normalize. And about a year later, his father's heart failure had totally resolved. The hero continued his father on antibiotics for 2 more years. Well, over 20 years later, not only did the hero's dad not need a heart transplant, but he still didn't have heart failure. So this story about my hero's dad took place in the 1990s. And then in 2010, my hero had a very dark story of his own. My hero became extremely ill, so much so that he couldn't walk for 2 years and ended up having to leave his medical practice. He became completely bedbound, and everyone around him thought he was going to die, including the hero. It was so bad that he needed 24-hour home care. He couldn't even turn over in bed on his own. But my hero continued to fight, and after seeing 25 doctors who couldn't figure it out, he figured it out on his own. He treated himself, regained his health, and returned to his practice. And it's at this practice that I met my hero that then saved my life. So heart and follow, because in my next video, I'm going to tell you who this hero is and how he can become yours.